Here's part one of the short story. Title: He walked in during my most private moment, and I didn't hold back. Part 1. The calm before the storm. It had been a long, draining week. The kind that left you feeling like a stranger in your own skin. I'd been holding it together for so long, at work, in my relationship, around friends, that I barely recognized myself anymore. So when my boyfriend told me he'd be out of town for the weekend, I didn't feel lonely. Felt relieved. The apartment was finally quiet. No background chatter, no questions, no pretending I was fine. Just me, a cup of herbal tea, and the soft sound of rain tapping against the windows like it was trying to whisper that everything would be okay. I lit a candle on the bedside table, vanilla and something warm, and dimmed the lights. I pulled my journal from the drawer, the one I hadn't dared touch in months. The cover was worn, and a ribbon marked a page I couldn't bring myself to read again. But tonight wasn't about the past. It was about release. I sat cross-legged on the bed, pulled a blanket around my shoulders, and started writing. But the pen felt too slow for the flood of emotion building inside me. So I stopped. I stared at my reflection in the window instead. My face blurred in the glass, the dim lighting softening the tired circles under my eyes. And then I did something I hadn't done in years. I turned on my phone's front-facing camera, not to post, not to share, but to speak loud to myself. "I'm so tired," I began, voice shaky. "Tired of pretending I'm strong all the time. Tired of smiling when I want to scream. Tired of not being seen." My voice echoed slightly in the empty room. No one was watching. No one was listening. And that made it feel safe. I kept talking about the weight of being the peacekeeper, the anxiety of not feeling good enough, the loneliness that crept in even when I was lying next to the man I loved. A tear rolled down my cheek, but I didn't wipe it away. This was my moment. For once, I wasn't performing. I was just being. I let the silence between sentences sit heavy in the room. It felt sacred, like I was peeling back layers of myself I hadn't seen in years. And just when I felt like I could finally exhale, I heard something that froze me completely. The sound of the door creaking open. My heart stuttered. That door was locked. He wasn't supposed to be back until tomorrow. I turned my head slowly toward the hallway, and there, standing in the doorway, was him. My boyfriend. Our eyes locked. And I was still holding the phone. Still recording. Still mid-sentence in the middle of my most private moment. And I didn't move. Here's part 2 of the story. Title: He walked in during my most private moment, and I didn't hold back. Part 2. The unexpected entry. Time seemed to freeze. He stood there in the doorway, half soaked from the rain, suitcase still in his hand. His brow furrowed, unsure if he'd walked into a dream or a mistake. No. I was still sitting on the bed, blanket around my shoulders, phone camera still recording. Exposed, raw, vulnerable. I should have stopped. Should have hidden the phone, wiped my face. Covered the truth I had just laid bare. That's what I normally would have done. Put the mask back on. Pretend. But this time, I didn't. Instead, I looked at him and spoke the words I had been too scared to say for months. "You weren't supposed to be home," I whispered, voice cracking, not with anger but with fear. "I thought I had space. Just one night to feel everything I've been keeping inside." He stepped into the room slowly, placing his bag gently near the door. The rain had followed him in somehow, dripping from his coat, or maybe from the tension now flooding the space between us. He didn't speak. Not yet. He just looked at me. Eyes searching, maybe confused, maybe hurt, but silent. I saw the flicker of concern there, but it was buried beneath a wall we'd both built without meaning to. My heart pounded in my chest. I could feel it in my ears, loud and heavy. "I wasn't going to say any of this to you," I admitted. "Not because it doesn't matter, but because I didn't think you'd listen, or care, or even notice." His face changed slightly. Just a shift, like a small storm brewing behind his eyes. Still no words. So I kept going. "I feel invisible," I said. "Like I've become this background character in your life. always supportive, always understanding, always fine. And you just assume I'll stay that way. I wasn't shouting. I wasn't accusing. My voice was steady but soft, every word weighed down by months of silence. I sit next to you on the couch and you're scrolling. I ask how your day was and you say, fine, without even looking at me. Do you even see me anymore? Or am I just part of the furniture? Still he said nothing. But he walked closer just a step. And I knew he heard me. The silence between us wasn't cold. It was heavy, thick with realization. Like he was seeing me clearly for the first time in a long while. I know you didn't mean to make me feel this way, I said, voice trembling. But that doesn't mean I don't feel it. Finally, he opened his mouth, his voice low, unsure. I didn't know, he said. I didn't realize. I looked him in the eye. Because I never let you. Until now. Another pause. And then I made the decision that would change everything. Kept speaking. I didn't hold back. Here's part 3 of the story. Title: He walked in during my most private moment, and I didn't hold back. Part 3, no holding back. Once the words started, I couldn't stop. It was like a dam had broken inside me, and everything I'd been bottling up for months, maybe years, rushed out in one unstoppable flood. I've been scared to say this, I continued, because I didn't want to start a fight. I didn't want to make things worse. But silence. It's been eating me alive. He sat down slowly on the edge of the bed. His hands clasped together, still not interrupting. His presence was calm, but I could tell his mind was racing. The look in his eyes was different now. Softer, uncertain, maybe even ashamed. You come home and I can feel the distance, I said. You're here but you're not with me. You've been distracted, and I kept thinking maybe it's just work stress, maybe it's a phase. But weeks turned into months, and I started questioning everything. My voice shook as I glanced at the phone still recording on the nightstand, the little red dot blinking. I didn't turn it off. I wanted to remember this. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. I miss the way you used to look at me, I said softly. Like you actually saw me. Not just the version of me that laughs at your jokes or makes the dinner reservations. Me. The real me. The one who feels scared. The one who sometimes just needs a hug and not a solution. He lowered his head. I didn't know you felt this far away. I know, I replied. That's the problem. I got so good at pretending, even you couldn't see through it. Took a breath. Deep one. And then I let the most vulnerable part of me rise to the surface. I started questioning if we even belonged together, I said. Not because I don't love you, but because I didn't know if you still loved me. I thought maybe I had become too much. Too emotional. Too quiet. Too inconvenient. His head snapped up. His eyes met mine with urgency. Don't say that. You're not too much. He paused, trying to collect his thoughts. I thought you were okay. You always seemed okay. Because I thought that's what you wanted from me, I said. To be the easy one. The peaceful one. But inside I've been screaming. A silence settled again, but it was different now. It wasn't avoidance. It was understanding. He reached for my hand. Let him. I'm sorry, he whispered. I should have paid more attention. I thought giving you space meant I was helping. I didn't realize I was pulling away. I don't want space, I said. I want connection. I want you. But I need you to see me, not just live beside me. There were no promises made. No dramatic declarations. Just truth. And the beginning of something new. Something raw, real, and finally honest. Let me know when you're ready for part 4. Or if you'd like help turning this into a full video script or voiceover version. Here's part of the story. Title: He walked in during my most private moment, and I didn't hold back. Part 4. Aftermath and new beginning. The room was quiet again, but it no longer felt suffocating. Something had shifted between us within me. I could breathe for the first time in a long while. He was still holding my hand, gently tracing his thumb across my skin, like he was trying to memorize what it felt like to truly be present. I wasn't used to this version of him. So quiet, so open, so still. And honestly, I wasn't sure if it would last. But for the first time it felt possible. "I didn't mean to shut you out," he said after a while. His voice almost too soft to hear. "I've just been in my own head. Work's been overwhelming. I kept thinking if I could just fix that, everything else would fall into place." I nodded slowly. "I get that. But while you were trying to fix everything out there, I was falling apart in here." His eyes welled up. I had never seen him cry. Not once in all the years we'd been together. But now his guard was down. Just like mine had been. "I thought I was protecting you by staying strong, by handling everything on my own," I admitted. "But maybe all this time I was just scared to let you see the mess." "I want to see the mess," he said without hesitation. "I want you. Not just the pieces you think I can handle." That was the moment I realized we might be okay. Not perfect, not fixed, but okay enough to try again, with the truth out in the open. We didn't talk much after that. We didn't need to. We just sat together on the bed, the candle flickering beside us, the rain still whispering against the glass. His hand never left mine. And I didn't let go. Later that night I turned off the recording on my phone. I watched the last few seconds, my face red from tears, my voice still shaking but my eyes clear. Honest, I didn't delete it. Not because I wanted to relive the pain but because I wanted to remember the moment, the one where I finally stopped hiding even when I was afraid. In the days that followed, things didn't magically change. There were still hard conversations, still uncomfortable truths. But there was also effort, real effort. He started looking me in the eyes more. Listening. Asking. I started speaking up sooner, not later. We were learning. Growing. Together. And now, whenever I catch my reflection, whether in a mirror, a window, or my own words, I see someone I recognize. Someone strong, not because she hides her pain, but because she's brave enough to feel it. He walked in during my most private moment. And I didn't hold back. And maybe that's when everything really began. Let me know if you'd like this turned into a full voiceover script, video captions, or an audio/narration guide.